It's an interesting looking car, isn't it? Whether that's a good interesting or a bad interesting is up to you. Either way, what you're looking at is the brand new SUV to come from Mitsubishi, the Eclipse Cross. It's called the Eclipse Cross because it's inspired by the Eclipse sports car from yesteryear, which was never sold in the UK, and Cross, well, because it's a crossover. Of course it is. Oh, actually, for what it's worth, I actually think it's an alright looking car, although I wouldn't have it in this optional new bronze paintwork. It looks a lot better in diamond red. I'm going to go this way this time.
Wait, another SUV? Yes, that's right, the car market has yet another SUV on its hands. But is Mitsubishi's latest offering able to eclipse its competition? Well, for starters, Mitsubishi has tried to make the Eclipse Cross stand out with a coupe design, and whilst I'd argue it's a bold look, I wouldn't say it's as well executed as the Toyota CHR. The exterior may be bold, but the inside is actually quite boring. Okay, you've got silver details and you've got black leather seats with bronze stitching, but apart from that, it all feels a little bit sober in there. Thankfully, you do have soft touch materials dotted about to give the inside a premium feel. However, the actual materials feel a little bit coarse and rough, but I suppose at least they feel durable. The handbrake also feels cheap and sounds equally as cheap when you operate it. So it's safe to say the interior isn't on par with rivals such as the Seat Ateca or the Peugeot 3008. So the design falls a little bit flat, but is the car spacious?
As always, the driver's seat has been set for me. I'm 6'2", so I am of course a tall guy, but thanks to rear seats which slide backwards, I've got plenty of legroom and I can get quite comfortable. To begin with, I've got no headroom at all. However, the rear seats also recline like so. There we go, that's better. And as you can see, my headroom has now been improved. Could you fit 3 adults back here? I think you could. It would be a bit of a squeeze, but it's definitely doable. But if you're more concerned about carrying children, of course, you've got ISOFIX points. Space in the back may be good, but boot space will have to suffer as a result. That's because if you have the rear seats slid all the way back, you get just 341 litres of boot space, which is less than a Volkswagen Golf and frankly disappointing. However, you can of course bring the rear seats forward, which gives you an improved 448 litres, which is more than a Nissan Qashqai, but still not what you'd call gargantuan. However, if you need even more space, you can of course fold down the 60/40 seats to give you 1,122 litres. The front offers a good amount of space, and as you would expect from a family SUV, there are plenty of cubby holes. In regards to space, I've got a decent amount of headroom. Knee room is okay, although it's not fantastic for me. Now, in regards to getting a good driving position, that is very easy. The steering wheel adjusts for, it's a bit stiff, brake and reach, and my driver's seat is also electronically adjustable. However, for my height, the way how I have it set up, I do still find the steering wheel to be a little bit too low. It's set to its highest and my seat is set to its lowest, but I would want the steering wheel to be a little bit higher for me, but that's more of a personal complaint as opposed to a general complaint about this car. In regards to cubby holes, this car's got a fair amount of them. The door bins are of a very good size. Not only have I been able to fit my bottle of drink in there, I've also been able to fit in my bottle of cleaning spray, and there's still space left over, so that is very impressive. You've also got 2 cup holders in the middle where I've got another bottle of drink. A cubby hole down here where you could put a few smaller items or a smartphone, although my Galaxy S9 doesn't fit properly, which is a little bit annoying. You've also got a central storage compartment, which again offers a decent amount of space, and you've got a little tray in there. Maybe you can put some loose change in there. And last but not least, you've got a glove box, of course, which again offers a decent amount of space. You've got a shelf at the top where you can put some sweets or some travel mints, and the bottom is currently being occupied by the car's manual, but there is space left over. So space in the front, very good.
So far then, the Eclipse Cross looks to be a little bit hit and miss, but how does it drive?
Now before I get going, I'm afraid I've got another small moan about this car. The biting point is quite high, and when you do hit it, there's not much feedback, so this car is quite easy to stall. Therefore, when you do set off from a traffic lights or a junction or wherever, you will probably find you'll have to rev it more than you would normally in order not to stall. You do sound like a bit of a learner driver. Right, let's fire up the engine, and away we go. There we go, didn't stall. Yeah, go me. Choosing an engine for the new Eclipse Cross will be a doddle because there's just one. It's a 1.5 litre turbocharged petrol, which kicks out 163 horsepower with 250 newton meters of torque. This power is mated to a 6-speed manual gearbox and front wheel drive. You can have a CVT automatic, which can be mated to either 2-wheel drive or all-wheel drive. And there will be a new 8-speed auto coming as well, but that will be exclusive for the 2.2 litre diesel, which is yet to arrive. Now, seeing as the 2.2 litre diesel isn't here yet, let's stick to talking about this 1.5 litre engine. It's nice and responsive. It's got a good amount of power, between 2,000 and 5,000 revs, and it does make pretty good progress. I wouldn't go so far to call it fast, but it's not sluggish either. It's well suited for every kind of driving condition. Okay, when you do approach the red line, it does become a little bit shouty, but when you're cruising, it simply works away in the background at a hushed volume. In regards to performance, this car will hit 62 miles per hour in 9.7 seconds and continue to a top speed of 127 miles per hour. And I have to say, it's a peppy engine. It's more responsive than I was expecting. The engine is pretty good, but what about this 6-speed manual gearbox? I'll be honest, the throws are a little bit shorter than what I was expecting, which is a good thing, but it's quite notchy and it lacks precision. The engine may be a pleasing tool in which to use, but the ride of this car isn't fantastic. It's quite bumpy, particularly at lower speeds or on broken roads, and it is quite firm as well. Thankfully, these leather seats are really nice and comfortable. They're spongy, they've got a good amount of support, they're not too hard, they're not too soft. Yep, they are comfortable. Now once you get up to speed, like I have now, I'm doing 40, it's not too bad. It's still not completely settled, but it is noticeably better. I wouldn't go so far to call this car uncomfortable, but if you're looking for an SUV which will have a nice, smooth, relaxing ride, this car may not be for you. SUVs are never going to be known for their dynamic qualities, well, not all of them. However, the Eclipse Cross isn't too bad. It's quite good in the corners. It's got less body roll than you would expect for a car of its size, and it's pretty capable in regards to cornering. The grip is predictable, but I won't lie, it hasn't got stacks of it. The steering has got a good enough weight, although it doesn't offer much feedback. But apart from that small point, the Eclipse Cross does handle well. Is it the best in its class? No, it's not, but it's not too far away, and I've definitely driven worse SUVs when it comes to handling. So the Eclipse Cross, it's not too bad in this area.
Okay, so the driving experience is once again a little bit hit and miss, but what about equipment? The Mitsubishi Eclipse Cross is available in 3 generously equipped trim levels, 2, 3 and 4. No, I'm not really too sure what happened to 1 either. 2 starts from £21,090 and is able to offer features such as autonomous emergency braking, rear view camera, 7-inch touchscreen, DAB radio, smartphone connectivity, Bluetooth, 16-inch alloy wheels, climate control, lane departure warning, high beam assist and privacy glass. You also get a Lexus style trackpad to support the function of the touchscreen, which is okay to use, but you'll find it's more efficient just to lean forward and prod at the touchscreen. 3 starts from £22,810, adding features such as 18-inch alloy wheels, a head-up display, heated front seats, front and rear parking sensors, dual zone climate control, keyless entry, and an electric handbrake on automatic versions.
The model I'm sat in now is the 4 trim level, which starts from £25,240 and is able to add features such as leather seats, panoramic roof, Rockford Fosgate sound system with 9 speakers, LED headlights, 360-degree parking camera, rear cross traffic alert, blind spot warning, adaptive cruise control that's only available on the automatic version, and lane change assist. Quite interestingly, Mitsubishi has chosen not to fit sat-nav into any of its models, and you can't even have it as an optional extra, which seems a little bit bizarre in 2018. Now, the Japanese brand states that most buyers will be able to use the smartphone connectivity, so you can use Google Maps or an app called Waze, which, okay, that does make sense, but what if you're an older buyer that doesn't have a smartphone? It does seem to be a little bit odd if you ask me.
Mitsubishi may have scrimped on sat-nav, but thankfully, safety has not been compromised here. Thanks to a raft of standard safety equipment, the Eclipse Cross was able to score 5 stars from Euro NCAP, with adult occupancy scored at a very impressive 97%. Child occupant safety isn't quite as impressive, but it's still a solid 78%, whilst pedestrian safety was scored at 80% and safety assist was scored at 71%.
Refinement is a mixed bag though. As I mentioned earlier, the engine works away very quietly when you're cruising, but because of these 18-inch alloys, you will find there's a fair amount of road noise that makes its way into the cabin. It's not deafening, but it is definitely audible. Wind noises, as you would expect for a high-riding SUV. Again, it's not deafening, but it is audible. Also, the retractable luggage cover in the boot makes this really annoying squeaky rattle as you drive along. And it doesn't matter whether you've got it slid out or slid back, it still makes that noise. Unfortunately, it won't get picked up on my audio, but take my word for it, it is quite irritating. Not only is refinement a mixed bag, but visibility is a mixed bag as well. Seeing out the front presents me no problems whatsoever. The A-pillars aren't too thick for an SUV and the wing mirrors are of a good size, plus I've got blind spot warning, which is very handy indeed. However, predictably, because of the car's rear design, your visibility out the back is hindered a little bit. Is it dangerous? No, it's not, but it is a little bit annoying. Let's face it, you wouldn't go to a cinema, watch a film on a big screen that's got a line going across it, would you? Okay, I know that's quite an extreme example, but you get my point. So if you're looking for a frugal SUV, I'm afraid you may want to look elsewhere. Because there's only one engine choice, it does mean that trying to find a frugal Eclipse Cross is difficult. This car, with its bigger alloys, on a combined run offers me 40.4 mpg, which nowadays is pretty average, to be fair. Although, in my experience, I've pretty much hit it, and there's even been days where I've surpassed it. There was one day where I got an average of 43.8 mpg on a combined run, which is not bad at all. This engine isn't particularly green either. It emits 159 grams per kilometre of CO2, meaning for the first year of VED, you'll be required to pay £515. That's not very good. However, it could be worse. If you go for the CVT automatic, it emits 171 grams per kilometre, meaning for the first year of VED, you'll be required to pay, I hope you're ready for this, £830. Also, as you would imagine, the CVT gearbox offers less fuel economy. On a combined run, it offers just 36.7 mpg. Not exactly frugal, is it?
So to sum up the Mitsubishi Eclipse Cross, it's got a peppy engine, a good amount of kit and a high level of safety. However, practicality could be better. It won't be the cheapest car in its class to run, and even once the diesel engine arrives, the engine choice will still be limited. So to go back to my original question, is this car eclipsing its competition? No, I'm afraid not. It feels like this is the car that's been left in the dark.
Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you have enjoyed it. If you have, give it a massive thumbs up. If you are subscribed, don't forget to click that bell icon so you get notified every time I make a video. And if you aren't subscribed, guys, what are you waiting for? Be sure to subscribe for more car obsession.